Hey everyone, Bob Thibodeau here. Welcome to another episode of Ask Bob. Now, I'm known as the podcast Yoda. I've helped many people over the years to start their own podcasts, and some of them have achieved high ratings, high rankings, and monetization in their podcasts. How that happened, I was active on a few Facebook groups concerning podcasting, was helping out with some tips, and someone commented, "You're like the Yoda of podcasting." And someone else chimed in and said, "Yeah, you're the podcast Yoda." And the nickname just kind of stuck. Okay. Now, in this series of podcasts and episodes, I answer your questions about podcasting. And I'll provide insight into some of the more common questions I've received along the way as well. And I call this section of our podcast training program Ask Bob. So if you have a question on podcasting, send it my way. I'd recommend you subscribe to this platform so you'll be updated every time a new question is answered and published. You can ask me a question, any question you might have concerning podcasting, by going to our website at podcast-training.com and just click on the contact form up the top. If I use your question in this program, I'll give you a shout out for it, and I will send you a free download to my book, The Complete Guide to Podcasting. It's a $37 value, and you'll receive it free of charge just for sending along your questions, and they're used on this program. Just all you got to do is ask Bob. That's as easy as it gets. If you have a podcast or a website, be sure to give me that information in the comments section as well, and I'll give you your podcast and your website a plug and put it in the show notes down below. So ask Bob whatever question you may have concerning podcasting. Now, many people and businesses are wondering if podcasting is something they should pursue. So in this series that we've been talking about, we're talking about what are the benefits of podcasting. And, people ask questions like, is it difficult to do? Is it complicated? Is it cost efficient? What will I talk about? Will anybody listen? How do I build an audience? These are all very good questions. And they're also questions many people have if they're considering starting a podcast. And we're taking a few minutes just to answer these questions for you. Now, our prior video, I answered the question, is it complicated? Today, I'm going to address the question, is podcasting cost efficient? Now, one of the reasons podcasting has become so popular is because it costs little to almost nothing to get started. Compared to traditional radio, podcasting is literally pennies for every dollar that would have been spent on traditional radio. Let me explain what I mean by that. If you went down to your local radio station and asked them to put you on the radio, they would be doing a couple of things. Believe me, this is true because I've had to jump through those same hoops before. First, they want to know what subject matter you're going to be talking about. You see, they have a target market that they're serving. They want to make sure it's a good fit for their demographics. For example, if you wanted to talk about all things concerning country and Western music in the country Western music industry, but you were approaching a hip hop station or a heavy metal station, they probably wouldn't they probably wouldn't accept your program and they'd turn you down. Next, if you're a fit for their demographics, they'll want to know the budget you're trying to operate within. This will guide them in determining if they even have a broadcast package that will fit your budget. Next, they're going to offer you some available time slots. You may have a desire to broadcast, say, 7:30 in the morning to 8 o'clock in the morning and talk directly to the morning rush hour traffic. That's when people are stuck in traffic, stuck in their cars, listening to the radio, and that's who you want to talk to. But if they have a morning show program already scheduled during that time, you're not going to get it. And even if they would consider putting you in there, that would also be considered prime time in radio. And you'd be paying a hefty fee for being able to broadcast in that spot. As a matter of fact, you may only be offered the 3 to 3:30 a.m. time slot for the budget you have in mind. One that will not have much of a listenership, but they want to have programming in there anyways. They may be opting into a nationwide syndicated program during that time slot, the 3 to 3:30 a.m. So instead of paying money out, they'd rather give it to you at a steep discount, so at least they have money coming in. Now, let me tell you about a friend of mine in the Baltimore market. And this is just one example of what I'm talking about. He is in that drive time slot that I told you about, the morning drive between 7:30 and 8 o'clock in the morning. But he has a 1-minute commentary where he talks about current events and Christianity. He is on 5 days per week, Monday through Friday, for 1 minute each day. That doesn't sound like a lot, does it? He's charged $80 per day for that 1 minute program. $80 per minute. Even if they gave a huge discount and charged them only $800 for a full half-hour program, that would still be $4,000 per week, $16,000 per month. Is your budget anywhere near $16,000 for a prime time radio slot in your market? Probably not. I know mine's not. So that's where podcasting comes in. Podcasting becomes so popular, even new cars have the little USB ports now, and people are just plugging their phones in and they're listening to podcasts while they're driving. So, podcasting is definitely becoming popular. We're going to be talking about that in a future episode. The point I'm trying to make is for less than, in most cases, less than $50 per month, you can have a daily program of any length you want. Of course, there are cheaper alternatives as well as more expensive plans. You can choose whichever one has the features and budget that you desire. Because that's just an example, but $50 per month is a whole lot better than $16,000 per month. Don't you agree? The point I'm trying to make is this: podcasting is referred to as the common man's radio program. You can get started for little or nothing. You can increase your budget to whatever level you feel comfortable doing. There are some people that budget thousands of dollars per month for podcasting. There are many who have successful podcasts who are doing it for free. So you can, basically get started at whatever budget you have right now. If you find these videos helpful, please help us by giving us a rating and comment down below, because it helps others to find this program as well. And I want to thank you in advance for doing that. Over the course of these podcasts and these videos, I want to answer any questions you may have concerning podcasting. You can leave your questions in the comments section below, but a better way of communicating with me and making sure that I'm able to see your questions quickly is by using the contact form on my website. Just go to podcast-training.com and click on the contact form. Fill it out and send it along. If I use your question on this podcast, I'll give you credit for it and bringing it to our attention, and you will receive a download of my book that's $37 if you purchase it. I'll send it to you for free for using your question on this program. It's called The Complete Guide to Podcasting. It's a $37 value. You'll get it free just by sending along your questions and to the Ask Bob program. And if you include your website or podcast information, I will reference that as well and put that information in the show notes of the podcast. Who knows? You may see some increased traffic to your website, your podcast, your product, just from asking me a question. If I get the same question, then the first person to ask it will be the one getting the credit. So if you have a question, don't wait. Ask today. Just go to the website, podcast-training.com, click on the contact form, and send along your question. And be sure to subscribe to this podcast in order to be notified when a new episode is being published and a new question is being answered. Also, in the show notes down below, I have a link to a free podcast creation checklist. This checklist is the same one that I follow in my training program. Of course, the training program goes into a lot more detail, but the checklist is all of the main subject matters and what it means. And you can use that to help get your podcast started. All right. So what you need to do right now, go to podcast-training.com, click on that contact form, send me along your podcasting question, and then go out there and start your podcast. And I'll talk to you soon.